51% of Filipino adults cannot tell the difference between fake news and real news. And right now, an industry worth 2.1 trillion pesos is built almost entirely on their inability to do exactly that.
So here's what's actually happening. You've seen the cringe TikToks, you've seen the awkward live streams, the fake drama, the screaming vloggers, and you thought, how is this profitable? Well, it's not an accident. It's not stupidity. It's an entire system of economics, broken education, algorithm design, and yes, straight-up political manipulation, all working together to make low quality the smartest survival strategy for millions of creators. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly how a vlogger getting paid $30 for 1 million views ends up being recruited by political operatives to spread disinformation about the West Philippine Sea. Yeah, it gets dark. Stick around.
Okay, first, let's talk money. Because if you think these creators are just lazy or untalented, you're dead wrong. The Filipino creator economy employs 8.71 million people. That's not a hobby, that's survival. And here's the brutal math they're working with. On YouTube, if you're in the vlogging niche, you earn between 50 cents and $4 per 1,000 views. Compare that to personal finance channels pulling in $20 per 1,000. Same platform, same effort, 10 times less money. In short form, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, 1 million views gets you $30 to $200 total, pooled globally and split among everyone. So what's a creator supposed to do? Spend 3 weeks crafting one beautiful, well-researched video? Or bang out 5 chaotic, dramatic, screaming thumbnails a day and hope the algorithm picks one up? The answer's obvious, and it's not their fault. Sponsorship deals for mid-tier channels with 100,000 to 500,000 views per video pay maybe 5 to 15,000 pesos per deal. That's rent money, that's groceries. And brands don't want nuance, they want eyes. Think about it. When was the last time you clicked on a calm, well-produced 10-minute explainer versus a thumbnail with someone screaming in a giant red arrow? Yeah, exactly. The algorithm knows, and the algorithm is the boss.
But here's the thing nobody talks about. The reason this content works, the reason it gets views, gets shared, gets believed, goes way deeper than algorithms. It goes back to a classroom, to an education system that is, frankly, failing. And I'll get to the specific number that made me physically uncomfortable in a second. But first, you need to understand the foundation this whole cringe economy is built on. Because later, I'm going to show you how this exact literacy gap is being weaponized by political actors. And that part? That's the part that should genuinely scare you.
Basic literacy in the Philippines? 93%. Looks great on paper. Functional literacy, the ability to actually comprehend, interpret, and critically evaluate what you read, is 70.8%. That's a 22-point gap. That means millions of people can decode words, but can't tell you if an argument makes sense, can't verify a source, and can't spot manipulation. Now go digital. The Philippines lags behind nearly every ASEAN neighbor in ICT skills. A study of aspiring creators found only 20% could make professional graphics, fewer than 10% understood basic design principles, and 0 could use advanced multimedia tools. In the education pipeline, student proficiency starts at 30% in grade 3, and by grade 12, it drops to 0.47%, less than half of 1%. So when a vlogger posts a fabricated story about crime or a fake geopolitical narrative and 51% of adults can't tell it's fake, that's not a content problem, that's a national emergency disguised as a TikTok trend.
All right, so you've got economically desperate creators, you've got an audience that's been systemically underprepared to critically evaluate content. Now pour gasoline on it. Enter the algorithm. YouTube's recommendation system doesn't care if your video is true, it cares about watch time, retention, and click-through. TikTok's algorithm, 84% of searches happen in the exploration phase, meaning people aren't looking for something specific, they're just scrolling, and the algorithm decides what they see. So what wins? The hook. The first 3 seconds. Drama, shock, exaggeration. TikTok's own internal data says high-quality creators get 72% more watch time and 40 times more follower growth. 40 times! So the algorithm knows what quality looks like, it just doesn't prioritize it in discovery because outrage gets the click first. And moderation? TikTok removed nearly 4 million videos from the Philippines for violations since late 2023. 4 million! And that's just what they caught. How many millions did they not catch?
Now, I want to be fair here because not all of this is cynical. Filipino culture loves closeness, family, the big sister energy, and the friend who tells you about their messy breakup over rice. And vlogging taps directly into that. Performative authenticity. Raw, unfiltered, shaky camera, crying on a live stream. And the audience goes, yes, this is real. This person is like me. Polished content feels corporate, fake, and like a commercial. So creators deliberately make their stuff look worse with lower production value and more cringe because cringe reads as honest. And in a hyper-competitive space where every student now wants to be a vlogger instead of a doctor or an engineer, standing out means being the most dramatic, the most embarrassing, and the most willing to air your family drama for content. And if you vlog in English instead of Tagalog, congratulations, you're now pretentious. Your audience trusts you less. So you code switch back, you dumb it down, you perform. It's not laziness, it's a cultural survival mechanism.
All right, I told you this was coming. Remember that literacy gap? Remember the 51% who can't tell fake from real? Remember the trust vacuum? Trust in news in the Philippines dropped by 10 points in 1 year, the steepest decline out of 48 countries surveyed. Only 28% of Filipinos trust the news. 28! So where do people go for information? They go to vloggers, influencers, and the friend talking to them through a phone screen. And political operators know this. There is documented evidence that Filipino vloggers are being paid to spread disinformation about the West Philippine Sea. Pro-Duterte vloggers were summoned by the House of Representatives. They sat in hearings and apologized on camera for spreading coordinated fake news. Fabricated stories about lawlessness and fabricated peace narratives, all designed to support a specific political agenda, all delivered through the same authentic, relatable vlogger format you see in your feed every day. And the Supreme Court? Vloggers tried to claim congressional inquiries violated their free speech. The court said no. But it also didn't shut the ecosystem down, so the machine keeps running. 58% of Filipino adults already believe influencers spread false political information. They know. And they still watch, because the alternative of trusting institutions feels worse. So, zoom out. What you've got is desperate creators making rational economic choices in a system that punishes quality, an audience systematically underprepared to demand better, algorithms that reward the loudest, fastest, most sensational content, a culture that equates polished with fake, and political actors exploiting every single one of those cracks. That's not stupid content. That's a rational equilibrium in a broken system. And calling it cringe lets everyone off the hook except the creator holding the phone. And if that reframe just hit you a little differently than you expected, and if you're going to think twice before calling the next cringe vlogger stupid, hit subscribe and click that notification bell. Because the next video goes even deeper into the money behind the disinformation networks, and you're not going to want to miss it. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. The question is, who designed it for?